After years of rumors, IMDb articles saying the movie is happening, Martin Lawrence saying the movie is happening, Will Smith saying the movie is happening, the whole studio talking about the movie is happening, Bad Boys 3, Bad Boys for Life, is actually happening. I don't think too many realize just how big a deal this movie is for actually existing. If there was any movie we needed Bad Boys for Life. And the movie where Spider-Man got to hang out with other superheroes. Me and my brother have talked about this for years, saying how cool an idea Will Smith and Martin Lawrence coming back together for a third Bad Boys would be. And to break it down for you, I'm going to give you 4 whole reasons why we needed Bad Boys for Life. Number 1, movie stars are almost extinct. Think of how many people they can sell a movie right now. Will Smith is one of the last movie stars we have. If you slap Will Smith's name on it, people will still watch it. Like Bright. Nobody was gonna watch Bright. I watched Bright, and I even fell asleep in the middle of it. I still don't know what the whole second act was, but all I know is Will Smith was in it. It was trending on Twitter, and people were talking about it. Suicide Squad. Everybody heard Will Smith was gonna be in it, and of course the heavy hitters there were Will Smith and Margot Robbie. And you know, people had a discussion about it. People were like, Will Smith, I can't see Will Smith being Deadshot. I can't see Will Smith starring an ensemble. Like, Will Smith is not cut out for a comic book movie. But then when you leave that trash movie, you realize the main thing you loved about that movie was Will Smith and Margot Robbie. And now if we bring it back to recently, Aladdin. Will Smith carried Aladdin the whole time he was on the screen. And that is why people went out to see it. You gotta see Will Smith be a genie. That sells tickets. And it did. Over $1 billion worth of tickets for Aladdin. I love Aladdin. I love the cartoon. I love Robin Williams. I did not think Aladdin would make $1 billion. Will Smith is working right now. First you have his YouTube channel, which is reintroducing him to a whole new generation of people who didn't even watch The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. They just watch YouTube all day. And then on top of that, he still has Gemini Man, Spies in Disguise, and Bad Boys for Life coming out within the next 4 months. Will Smith is hot right now.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
So hot right now.
And if you put Will Smith in a movie that's actually a sequel to another one of the movies that made Will Smith, you got gold right there. Will Smith at 50 is still bringing in tickets, and with the addition of his family and them helping, you know, the freaking environment with water and doing all this other stuff, like, the man can't fail right now. This is kind of a Will Smith renaissance we're in. And he didn't even go anywhere, which brings me to my next point. Martin Lawrence went somewhere. Where has Martin Lawrence been? Martin Lawrence has chilled out. That's what Martin Lawrence has been doing. The last good Martin movie that I liked was Death at a Funeral. And that was 2010. That was 9 years ago. And then, you know, he gave us Big Mama's House 3 and nobody was really feeling that. He did like a short-lived sitcom with Kelsey Grammer that only lasted a season, and then he tried to produce some show after that, and after that, never heard from him again. But, come to find out, he has 3.2 million followers on Instagram. Hey, 5.9 million. And he's just been doing stand-up comedy shows ever since, and they've been low-key. Like, Martin is that guy that struck gold in the 90s and has just lived off that ever since. You really don't need to do much when people are still quoting Martin on Twitter, and people are still debating if Martin was even one of the best shows of the 90s. I say if it's not in your top 5, something's wrong. Well, I'm not gonna say Martin needs this movie. Martin kind of needs this movie if he just wants to be like, if he just wants to go do other things. Like, if after this movie, if Martin decides I want to get back into comedy and doing movies, big budget movies again, then this is the good starting point since I've been gone for so long. I mean, hell, you see Eddie Murphy's doing it. Of course, he got his Dolomite coming out, but then after that, Coming to America 2 is coming, and he already even said that he's been sitting down for way too long. He wants to get back to work. What better way to get back to work than actually doing a movie that audiences are already kind of familiar with, and you already know those same audiences who saw it back in the day will probably more than likely check out to see what you got the second or third time around. Third reason why we need this movie. It's a sequel that actually makes sense. It's logical to have a movie like Bad Boys 3. Look at Rush Hour. Rush Hour had 1, 2, and it took a 5-year gap and then went to Rush Hour 3. Movies like that make sense because guess what? People aren't watching these movies for the plot. Name the bad guy in Bad Boys 1. Let's do it a little bit easier. Name the bad guy in Bad Boys 2. loved seeing this dude on screen. To this day, I still don't know what his name is. If you just ask me straight up, Enrique or something, Enrique Iglesias, I don't know. But all I know is he is the bad guy from Bad Boys 2. Nobody's paying to see this movie because, I wonder if the story's gonna be as riveting as the second one, which was the worst reviewed one. And even the first one didn't even make the best reviews, but it still made a bunch of money, just like the second one. You know why? Because this is an action comedy with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence just bantering off each other. It's easy. It's not like one of those movies like, say, Dumb and Dumber 2. Or, Zoolander 2. The first movies were hilarious, but those movies rely on funny characters, funny dialogue, and it has to have like a funny script to go along with it to give them a reason of why are we even back here in the first place. That's where Bad Boys and Rush Hour have an advantage. You have two funny characters who are put in situations that are outrageous and just crazy, and at the same time, you still have a bunch of things happening in the background catching your attention and a soundtrack going on that makes you want to stay involved and keep watching. Releasing the movies like Bad Boys for Life, which is the third in a trilogy starring Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, who already have a set fan base before them, and with Will Smith's YouTube channel bringing in a bunch of other people that probably weren't as aware of Will Smith and his other works. And on top of that, the movie probably doesn't even have that much competition around it with all these unknown names and everything, and a familiar name like Bad Boys comes out in January, it makes sense. Of course it's gonna make money. And the fourth and final reason why we need this movie, it has the same energy. This trailer did not deserve to be this good and remind me so much of the previous movies. Michael Bay directed the first two movies, and that's the dude that did Transformers. And these two dudes who just came in to direct this look like they're just taking exactly what that man did. The dialogue has the same feel. The cursing has the same feel. Even the color palette they put on top of this movie has the same feel because it just looks hot and bright. You can actually tell that they actually sat down and thought about how this movie needs to come together and make sense. It's already called Bad Boys. So what happens if Bad Boys get older? Bad senior citizens? It writes itself. So as you can tell, yes, I'm very excited for this movie because I sat down and made a whole video for it. I'm about to edit it so 12 people can see. So yes, I'm very ecstatic for this movie. But don't get it twisted. I still don't need to see a reboot of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air or Martin because nobody's asking for all that. Just no.
The guy's got a cannon.
What do you want some? I want some. You want some bad enough, then you come get some.
I'm going.
Wait. Hey, freeze, bitch! You freeze, bitch.
Oh, shit. I'm fucked. Now back up, put the gun down, and give me a pack of tropical fruit Bubblicious.
And some Skittles.